All right, my numerology friends, let's talk about the 16-7. The 16-7 is a karmic number. So it is a karmic number with 7 being the one vibration, right? 1 plus 6 is 7. So 7 is the number that it breaks down to, which 7 is an internal self-examination type energy. 1 is about leadership, individuality, new starts, and 6 is about relationships. So if you put 1 about leaderships, new starts, with 6 relationships and ideas, and then karma, you can gather that the 16-7 is a person who may have challenges within relationships. So this is the age of reason and enlightenment. What happens is this person can experience brokenheartedness because the person is coming to grips with who they are as an individuality, while also coming to grips with the need to be in a relationship and how what they bring to the relationship may not be of the highest value for the relationship. They can have difficulties with love. This can be a crucifixion of the self on the cross of love due to a past lifetime of illicit love. This means that at some point in their cycle of being born, they had a love affair that was not up to par with whatever the standards were. So you can take this as being a person having a love affair with a minor, a person having a love affair with someone who was betrothed to someone else. At certain times in culture, a person having a love affair with someone of a different ethnic group or a different culture, right? So at some point, they were involved in some relationship that was not necessarily considered a favorable relationship during that time period. And in this lifetime, they have to give account for that. And this can also be that at some time in a past life, they pretty much had a lot of sexual exploits. They were love them and leave them kind of people. They broke people's heart. And in this lifetime, they're kind of conscious of relationships and tend to suffer in them. Okay, so some examples: Nathaniel Hawthorne and the Scarlet Letter, right? That's a 16 expression number. It's about adultery, ostracism. That's 7, right? Of the self from the community. 6, relationship. All right, illegitimate love in a former lifetime, like adultery. Here's some people who are examples: Katharine Hepburn, 16 life. Judy Garland, 16 quiet self. Okay, if you look at these different people, if I give you the name and you look them up, you can see all the different marriages some of them had or love interests that some of them had. Let's skip down to Marilyn Monroe, 16 life, and Princess Diana, 16 life. So Princess Diana wasn't known for as many love affairs, but she was known for the type of scandals that the love affairs caused and the way it kind of ended her life. Marilyn Monroe is kind of linked to a love affair possibly ending her life. Okay, another thing that happens with the 16-7 is the potential of loss of name, power, and position is kind of done or felt in this lifetime because they are behaving in a way that others do not agree with. So others turn on them when they are showing this side of themselves. For instance, some people who shall remain nameless who have relationships when they are in their 60s and 70s with 20-year-olds. People are starting to look like, wait a minute, when did they start being with that person? Okay, so Richard Nixon, 16 soul, remember he had the whole big Watergate scandal? He had that whole scandal, loss of power, loss of fame, loss of name, right? So these people can be very spiritual or agnostic, and they may be aesthetic. So basically, they can believe in God deeply, not believe in God, or just believe that there's something out there, but they don't want to give it a title. All right. Betty Ford Clinic, right? That's a 16 so Betty Elizabeth and Blonde. All right. The tower in the tarot card means loss of name, power, and position suddenly, starting over. People see the tower and they think of really horrible things, but it's not always horrible. It's a chance to rebuild after having some education. So hopefully you can build a foundation that's more stable. This person must adhere to the straight and narrow in their business dealings, right? Martha Stewart is an example. That's her name, right? She's a 16. So she wasn't exactly upstanding, and then she had a loss of fame, a loss of power. But if you notice, after that, she rebuilt better than she was before. Now she's worth more than she was worth before the incident occurred. And this also explains why people say, well, other people did the same thing and they did not get caught. If you're dealing with a karmic number, you're more than likely to get caught. So a person who has a 16 as a birthday, which means you're born on the 16th, you may find that your life brings sudden events that are a wake-up call, right? So you have things that happen over and over where you start to reevaluate your life and you look at it in an honest lens as to what is going on, your role, and what your life is bringing you. You do that if you have a 16-7. All right? Okay, here you go. You insist on independence. You need time to rest and recover. You need to meditate and contemplate. You may have unused interest in the technical, scientific, metaphysical, or spiritual subjects. I'm sorry, unusual. My bad. Now, you're a deep thinker. You can be a good observer, a leader, a teacher, a philosopher. So those are careers that work. You would need a fine education in both books and travel for your greatest success. You feel at home with animals and nature. So that's the birthday. Vocational indicators, which means the jobs that you should look for. Professional jobs such as writing, science, love, and teaching. You have a talent for music, painting, acting, or research. Main principles to use in your life and job are originality. Okay, so again, there's some examples of ones, and you have to be of a great ethical standard in order for you not to suffer the 16-7 karma in your business. All right, so I hope this helps you guys.